take the decision to refuse or to turn back the soldiers who had been deployed at Montagne Posée prison. He was unable to remove them, even though he was the highest ranking senior police officer there, but he was unable to do that because he felt that he was already working in an environment where he was being undermined and his duties were being interfered with, and that is precisely why he left the soldiers there, even if he didn't request for them. So what would be your comment on that?
Well, moi je fais un commentaire général qui me trouve drôle.
I would just make a general comment that I find that strange.
Parce que si ou là, comme officier la police plus senior,
because if you are there as the most senior police officer,
vous connaissez pour dire on a tout les autres gardes qui tombent pas en bas.
And you know that you have all the rest of your police officers underneath you.
Si vous sentez qu'il peut dire ou d'un problème,
if you feel that you are in a problematic situation,
moi crois que premièrement ou ça va cause avec ses officiers militaires, colonel Hollanda.
I think that firstly you should have talked to the military officer, the Colonel Hollanda.
Pour dire avec lui qu'il ressemblait là, il y a un peu de problème et alors ça va meilleur pour militaires sortir.
To say to him that now it seems that there is an issue and that it's best that the military moves out.
Ou bien, pour ça va cause avec Compol qui est senior officer.
Or that you would talk to the compol who is your senior officer.
Pour dire avec lui que ça expose l'opération la police avec militaire, mais qui militaire in take over en comparaison.
And say to him that this is supposed to be a police operation and that the military has taken over as an example.
Et qui compol lui à présent il va cause avec CDF qui sont counterparts le côté militaire.
And Compol would then speak to the CDF, which is his counterpart on the military level.
Et pour autres tombe une solution, mais seulement on pas accepter qui ou pas dire rien ou pas faire rien.
For them to reach a solution, I do not accept that you do not do anything, you do not say anything.
Après devant commission on vient dire ça.
And then in front of the commission you come and say that.
Et in the meantime, il en a la vie qui perdue.
And in the meantime, lives have been lost.
Et Dimoninga is injured.
And people has been injured.
Then you also mentioned that on the 7th of December, 2024, when you returned back to the Republic, on the 9th of when you came back to the Republic, you were briefed by a team of senior officers, and Mr. Sangwa was one of them. In that meeting, do you recall him raising any concerns about these issues?
None whatsoever.
Okay. And did the police commissioner raise any concerns?
No.
Did Mr. Olada, Colonel Olada at that time raise any concerns?
No.
Okay. So
in fact, they were basically in sync that it was a joint operation and they had done the joint operation together. The only thing that they did put emphasis on, and I remember Colonel Hollanda saying that one of his orders was do not use lethal or live weapons.
But you did come to know that apart from non-lethal weapon, a lethal weapon was used.
Well, this came in fact I can mention that on the day of the briefing, what came out was that lethal weapons were not used. Live ammunition was never used. I only came to know about live when the first post-mortem result came out.
Can I say that then they lied to you?
Yes. You can say ou capable dire qu'ils ont zot pan dit mon pas pour servir zot une cause menti avec moi. Moi va dire quelquefois zot même zot aussi tous zot parti au courant parce qu'ils saisissent après qui post-mortem il gagne fait et après qui meilleur mon gagné comprend zot in faire ban test pour zot faire ça audit qui zot in découvert qui vous dit il y en a live qui ne servi.
I would not say that they lied, but that they also probably was not aware, because it was only after the post-mortem had been done that there was the test also that they found out that live ammunition had been used.
But then we are talking specifically of the death of Mr. Machut.
Yes, because on the 9th, only Mr. Machut had passed away.
Okay. But my question is that when they went in, Colonel Ronada accepted that they had sidearms that were fired in the prison. So they did not inform you, they did not tell you the truth that
I can only
pistols were fired.
No. Momo capable this dit ça qui momo napon.
I can only say what I have learned.
On the 9th, tu n'as pas aucune mention live ammunition, mais only non-lethal.
On the 9th, there was no mention of live ammunition, but only
That's
non-lethal.
where I'm coming from. So they did not tell you
No.
they used.
Non, les nifs.
They did fire on your briefing.
Non, les nifs.
Yes.
Mon crois qui, in all fairness, nous besoin aussi regarder. L'incident arrive les 6 et que les 5 et les 6 et les autres aussi, tous les autres peuvent faire investigation, post-mortem, pas de quoi faire.
In all fairness, we need
Exactement.
to look at it like that. The incident happened on the 5th and the 6th, and the post-mortem had not yet been done. It was still under investigation, everything.
So, moi, pour dire que les 9 l'état nous fait sa briefing, autres même, autres partis connaissent.
So I would say that on the 9th, when we had the briefing, even they themselves were not aware.
But normally, when you have such an operation and there's live bullets are being used, and before you go into an operation, you are handed the bullets. Everything is accounted for. Okay, so by the time the operation is over, everything has to be accounted for. So there would be an account of the ammunition that was used and that was returned. So they would have done that even before the 9th.
Ça, moi, pas qu'à répondre.
That I
Moi,
cannot
pas qu'à
answer,
répondre à cause de ça. L'opération militaire,
because that
il y a
is,
des autres à qui point qu'ils ont fait ça, mon papa le sait répondre question l'opération qui mon pas connaît.
that is a military operation. At what stage do they do that? I would not know, because I cannot answer with regards to the military
Ça c'est
operation.
pas levé dans sa briefing.
And that issue was not risen in that briefing, sorry.
Yeah, but my point, Mr. Kalawan, I am coming in front of my commander-in-chief. Yeah? I should be feeding my commander-in-chief with precise information. And it was not given as a precise information to you.
Oui, mais mon peut dire les autres.
Qui vous fatiguez?
Ça qui mon chose qui vous dit les 9, tu n'as pas aucune conversation low live ammunition.
I'm telling you
C'est tout qui
what
m'ont
I
capable mon cas dire avec commission.
heard
Cannot
is that
give greater help.
on the 9th there was no conversation about live ammunition. That is all I can say to the commissioners.
Okay, I think let's move on from the past, from the 9th.
Okay, so we move on from the 9th. Thereafter, what went on in respect of the investigation?
La police qui tient pensé l'investigation et il y a des officiers qui sont assigned pour lui faire l'investigation.
The police was in charge of investigation, and there was an officer who was assigned to be the head investigator.
And At any point in time, did you receive a report or of the progress of the investigation?
Mon pan zanmen gagne un rapport dans mon main.
I never received the report in my hand
Aucune l'investigation qui peut arriver.
about any investigation that was happening.
Ça qui m'a fait tous les lundis
What I did every Monday
dans meeting qui par exemple des autres m'ont fait.
in the meeting, like
Moi,
I say I do,
demandé qui stage nous arrivé.
I ask what stage have we reached.
Et en même temps, les temps tu fais l'autopsie lo monsieur Mathiot,
And at the same time, when the autopsy was done on Mr. Machot,
moi tu gagné un brief report lo résultat l'autopsie
I had a brief report about the result of the autopsy,
qui t'y indiqué par les autres cause là et par les pathologiste causé.
which indicated what you spoke of and what the pathologist stated,
So,
explained.
apart from that report of the pathologist, you never received any preliminary
Non,
or
mais
formal
même-
report or anything?
Même rapport pathologiste, il parti venir contre moi.
Even the pathologist report did not come
Non,
to me.
non, moi tu gagné un brief lo quoi qu'il arrive.
I was briefed about what had happened,
Et qui, en gros, peut dire qu'il en a exactement pareil. Samson expliqué qu'il vous dit qu'il y a une boulette qui est entrée dans son corps et qui ça qui coupé un arterie, quelque chose comme ça. Mais
that
c'est tout.
in general there was a bullet that had entered his body, nicked an artery, something like that, but that is all.
So, were you not concerned that no, you were not receiving any report or anything regarding what has happened at the...
Commissioner, premier quelque chose qui m'a dit avec Compol,
First thing I
dans
said
sa texte,
to the compol, I still have that text
pour
message.
m'a dit avec lui, mettre l'emphase immédiatement l'eau, ça dé l'investigation, l'eau ça dé la mort.
Was to emphasize immediately and put emphasis on the investigation
On the
with
two-
regards to the two
to
deaths.
deaths. Parce que l'autopsie qu'il fait le monsieur Mathiot
Because the autopsy had been conducted on Mr. Machot
et l'autopsie qu'il fait le monsieur Ernesta
as well as Mr. Enista,
et quelque chose qui est clair, c'est que les autres patines mort dans une circonstance naturelle, pas la mort naturelle.
and what was clear was that their passing was not due to a natural
Et
occurrence,
qui est un élément la police qui besoin d'investigateur.
and that there was an element that the police
So,
needed to
mettre
investigate.
l'emphase et les faits aussi, tout qui m'ont joint avec tous les deux familles.
And I put emphasis on the fact that I had met with both families,
Et sans qu'il m'aille dans le détail nos conversations, moi des autres qui peut dire l'emphase pour gagner mettre l'eau là pour qu'ils soient capables, s'il y en a l'évidence and everything else, quelque chose est capable de bouger.
and without going into the details of these conversations, I told them that emphasis would be put on the investigation so that things can
Et
happen.
semaine après semaine, mon petit peu demandé moi. Semaine après semaine, mon petit peu demandé.
Week after week, I was asking for results.
Et malheureusement, pas jamais arrivé et là moi prendre qui peut dire rapport. Monsieur Jean Vol, il vient là, il dit qui rapport, tu peux le donner, mais c'est ma cause inquiry. Come on, pas acceptable ça. 1
Unfortunately,
year later,
nothing happened, and now I hear Mr. Janvol saying that the report was going to be given.
non, pas acceptable. Et moi pour dire avec commission, ça retarde ça l'investigation est simplement pas acceptable.
That is
Et moi crois qu'il
unacceptable.
peut dire ça il devrait être, si mon capable d'ajouter, ça il devrait être un autre finding.
And I would like to say to the Commission that this is unacceptable, something that is unacceptable, and that should be one of your findings.
Okay. You were meeting with the commissioner and continually asking him about the report, but you were not receiving anything. Did the commissioner ever inform you that Mr. Janvol, who was conducting the investigation, was having difficulties, was having resistance with some officers giving statements.
Non, il parti nom qui pour dire M. Jean Vol, c'est une difficulté.
No, he did not
statement.
say that Mr. Janvol was having difficulty with statements.
In fact, mon capable de dire que le commissionnaire la police lui aussitôt était frustré
In fact, I can tell you that the Commissioner of Police was also frustrated
à cause était dans sa bonne meetings, il dit l'état m'a demandé concernant l'investigation côté était et là il mentionné qui peut dire ou capable quoi qui peut dire il y en a certains du monde qui autres pourquoi aller pour donner statement.
While I was asking him in one of those meetings what was the stage of the investigation, that's when he told me, can you believe that there are certain people that they had not yet sought out for them to take statements from?
Et si mon capable de ajouter, qui peut dire, mon gagne l'impression, qui peut dire, commissionnaire la police, tu peux dire moi, ça qui les officiers, tu peux dire lui, et qui les officiers, tu peux dire lui, toute la vérité.
And if I would like, can I say also that I was getting the impression that the Commissioner of Police was telling me what the police officers was telling him, and that the police officers was not telling him the entire truth.
But when Mr. Janvol came here, he was very adamant that he tried hard to obtain statements, and he got the most resistance from the special ops people who were involved in that operation.
I heard that as well, but I am not aware.
Mais c'est moi connais l'état mon écoute ça bonne l'évidence et les autres comme commissionnaires les autres intendent tout mon point suivre tout bon quoi tenez peut pass the buck around pour tout le monde qui vient là les autres sorti comme bon du monde nous tout nous peut faire tout ça qui nous capable mais c'est moi tel pas faire l'autre pas faire
I would like to say that while I was listening to the evidence, the testimonies, that everyone that came here was like sort of passing the buck around, whereby they were portraying themselves as the better person and saying that so and so did not do such and such.
Ok, mais si il peut dire qu'il y en a un groupe qui t'a peut donner hard time pour donner l'évidence.
If he's saying that there was a group giving him hard time with regards to the evidence,
Mon question qui m'a fait content qu'on est, c'est quand qui date qui recevoir un statement avec sa bande de monde, est-ce qu'il recevoir un statement en juin 2026, en avril 2026, qui date qui recevoir sa bande statement et à partir du moment qu'il recevoir sa bande statement, qui travaille qu'il fait?
the
Moi, pas
question...
connaît, mon pésis dit qu'il va intéressant pour connaître sa bonne hard time qui dit tu peux gagner quand et qui n'arrive depuis ça.
I would like to ask is what specific dates that he received those statements, if it was in June 26, April 26, and at the moment that he received those statements in particular, what particular job has he done from that, after that? That's what I want to ask.
Mr. Ramkalawan, yeah, we understand, yeah, but there is one thing about, anyway, you're trying to explain that, yes, there were shortcomings, but were you made aware that sometime soon after the operation, all the weapons were handed over to the CID for ballistic investigations, and that at one point, not too far later, Mr. Barbie, Commissioner of Police, instructed CSP Posée, who ordered Mr. Janvol to return all the weapons back to the Special Ops Unit taking into account that those weapons were involved in this operation and that there was an investigation going to take place. So the exhibit then was returned and it's not there anymore.
Ok, mon courant ça.
I am aware of that.
Zis après parce que moi t'ai gagné informé parce que tout ça bonne pistole, c'était bonne pistole neuf qui nous t'in fait que gagner.
Just afterwards, I was informed because all of these pistols were brand new that we had just received.
Tout ça bonne pistole t'ai gagné pas pour faire bonne test parce que t'en a bonne Rwandans qui t'y peut venir to carry out the test at swimming pool.
They were taken to conduct tests because the Rwandans was coming to carry out tests at the swimming pool.
Question qui t'y gagne posée, c'est après qu'ils ont fait tout bon test, est-ce que ces bon weapons would be used comme l'évidence?
The question that was
Exhibit.
asked was after it was tested, will these weapons be used as evidence exhibits?
Et la réponse qui t'y retournait, c'était que tous ces bon weapons sont cleared.
And the reason it was returned, it's because that all of these weapons has been cleared.
Et qui n'ont pas besoin de ces bon weapons pour exhibit parce que these weapons were not used during the operation.
And that they did not need those weapons for exhibits because it was not used during the operations.
Et avec tout bonnes affaires élection qui t'y peut venir,
And with the election, everything that was coming with it,
tout ça bon du monde qui t'y là dans those level of security par eux connaît ils montent dans sa bonne circonstance.
all of these people that were there on the level of security
So-
like you would expect to have on these
So
circumstances.
un demande t'y gagne faire pour return the weapons, and if those weapons were required as exhibits, then it was the responsibility of the police to say no.
So they
We
asked,
cannot return those weapons, but those weapons were returned because the police certified that they would not need those weapons as exhibits.
Yeah, but certification of this reply would eventually be from the CID, wouldn't it?
Well, whichever department, yeah.
No, it should be from the CID
Well,
because they are the investigating
Yes,
body.
yes.
So, Mr. Ted Barbie wouldn't be able to take a decision if he was not getting a proper reply, as you said, that they didn't need anything
Exactement.
from the CID.
Exactly.
So, are
Exactly.
we saying that the CID then, yes, surrendered the weapon?
Yes.
Okay.
In cleared, parce que the weapons
it
were
was
returned.
cleared.
So that's what Mr. Barbie told you.
Well, yes, this is what happened. Pas ça que M. Babé dit moi. But
Not
this
what
is what
Mr.
happened.
Barbie told
Si-
me.
Si vous besoin sa ballpen comme un exhibit, vous pas pour gagner retourner.
If you need
Il
that
dit,
ball
ben, moi besoin
pen
garder.
as exhibit, I will not get it back in return. We
Mais
have to keep it.
si la police t'y senti qui pour dire ça bonne arme, pas pour gagner servi d'un exhibit, mon capable dit, il basé là, qu'ils ont une retourne tout bon physique parce
If
que
the police felt that these weapons would not be used as exhibit, then based on that, that's why I would think that they returned these weapons.
Parce que ça tient l'investigation criminelle.
Because that was a criminal investigation.
Et un criminal investigation, il y a entièrement dans la main de la police.
And a criminal investigation is entirely in the hands of the police.
Et la police qui peut submit whatever to the office of the Attorney General, who is the public prosecutor.
And it's the police who
N'a
would
pas
submit
personne qui est capable d'interférer dans le travail Attorney General as the public prosecutor.
whatever to the AG's office, Attorney General, who is the public prosecutor, and no one can interfere in the job of the Attorney General as the public prosecutor.
But are we in agreement that apart from the weapons belonging to the special ops unit, They are the only ones that have been returned. All the rest of the weapons seized. That includes other weapons, and that includes those of the prison itself. They are still in the custody of the CID.
Mon pas connaît ça.
I do not know.
Si on gagne ça l'information, mon pas pour contester ça l'information.
If you
mais
receive-
seulement là mon pour aussi ajouter. Mais dans ça il y a un gros problème.
If you receive that information, I will not contest that, but
Si.
I will also add that now in that case there is a big problem.
Parce que qui manière ou capable garder un peu, lag un peu.
Because how can you keep some and release some?
Mon conclusion c'est que ou peut lag sa bande qui n'a pas aucune l'importance dans l'investigation.
My conclusion
Absolument
would
pareil
be
la police y fait.
that you are releasing those that has no importance to your investigation the same way as the police do.
Yeah. La police le temps il vient, il prend tout qualité quelque chose et après il dit ben mon téléphone il pas ami. Il est capable parfois il pourra nous téléphone parce qu'il peut dire ben sa téléphone pas pour gagner service dans sa caisse.
The police sometimes would confiscate many things, and amongst those things there might be your phone, and you say you have my phone, and then it might be that the police returns your phone because they see that they do not need your phone for the investigation.
Quelquefois en même temps aussi, moi vas-y s'ajouter qui Paris nous connaît, Paris je peux dire ça bonne physique la gueule, live ammunition and everything else. Quelquefois.
And I would like to add, for example, they were talking about the gun with the big muzzle and etc. or the weapons.
Quelquefois, je noir qui peut dire ça bonne là-bas qui est important pour comment exhibit dans sa caisse.
Maybe they
Et
saw that
alors, c'est
these
pour ça
ones.
raison là mon pésis c'est y donner ça mais seulement quelque chose qui est clair c'est que tout bon armes qui avec special ops la police t'y retournait à cause tu dis sa bonne weapons pas gagné servi alors they would not be part of the exhibit in any court case.
Maybe they thought that
That's
these
why they were released.
were important for the investigation, but I'm just speculating there. But I would say with certainty that all the ammunition or weapons from the special ops, they had it returned because the police saw that they were not needed for the investigation.
Yeah, but I disagree, Mr. Akawan. I
we
disagree
can
because
agree to
there
disagree.
were so many other weapons that were not used.
Well, we can more pas involved dans l'investigation de la police. You can disagree with me, but I am stating the fact.
I am not involved in the investigation of the police.
The
You can
fact-
disagree with me.
The fact is, one, all the weapons of the special ops unit were taken, tests were done, and in fact when the tests were being done, there were members of the special ops that were invited. Thirdly, the weapons were kept with the police for some time, and then fourthly, the weapons were released. These are the facts. What happened, whether the police failed in their investigation, this, I would say, has nothing to do with the special ops. The police returned the weapons. As simple as that.
Let's maybe since we are
Mhm.
still talking about the investigations, did the police commissioner indicate to you that one of the challenges that caused the investigation to be stuck is because what we normally call the crime scene,
Mhm.
the scene where the body
Yes, the crime scene, yeah.
of
Mhm.
Mr. Jerry Machot was found to be lifeless, but also the scene where other inmates were brutally injured, which is the prison, inside the prison, was cleaned. It was
No.
swept.
No,
It was scrubbed.
no. Sapan zame.
Nobody
No, no.
informed
Sapan
you that.
zame vin dans l'attention.
No, this never came to my attention.
Because I'm wondering why that was never brought to your attention. Because Mr. Babe, the former police commissioner, said, yes, the procedures for preserving evidence at the prison to find out a lot of other things were not followed.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So I'm wondering why he never brought this to you and say,
No,
Mr.
mo-
President, this is the...
Non, mon mazine qui peut-être c'est un détail qui il pas n'amène côté moi, mais mon quoi qui fait aussi tout un manquement. Mais amène gagne mettre dans mon attention ça point.
I imagined that this is a small detail that he did not bring to my attention, or maybe an omission, but this was not brought to my attention.
Never brought to my
Yeah.
attention.
No, I will acknowledge your answer that it was never brought to your attention, but it was not a small detail.
No, it was not. I agree
Yeah.
with you.
It was a big issue because every critical witness who has come here, we have been asking this question about
I
an
know.
investigation, and two challenges always feature. One, resistance, which the commissioners were asking about, resistance from senior police officers to give statements to the investigating officer, or resistance from the military officers in the special ops to give statements to the investigation officer. But the other issue is that the crime scene itself was swept clean. So I think it's a big issue, which if the police commissioner did not raise with you when you were asking him how far are the investigations going, why are the investigations stuck, and if he didn't mention that, I think that's
Mon comprend. Of course, il y a un big issue.
I understand that, of course, it's a big issue.
Et en même temps, on peut dire que l'État écoute commission, l'État voit lesquels bon officiers qui sont là, bon senior officers.
And at the same time, I would say that when I listened to the commission and saw who of the officers, amongst the officers were there,
La quantité, well, ou t'en as ou des ACP, well, un DCP,
you had one DCP,
des ACP,
two ACP,
ou t'en as ou plusieurs ben les autres high-ranking officers.
we had several other high-ranking officers.
Tout ça bandi moun qui connaît qui peut dire un crime scene il besoin gain préservé
All of these people who knew that the crime scene must be preserved.
à cause autres pas fait rien
Why did they not do anything?
à cause qu'ils ont dismonté body bag descend avec les corps amène la case mort.
Why did they just went up with the body bag, went down with the body to the mortuary?
Yes,
Yes,
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, Mr. Sangwa yesterday did indicate to us, because we put this question to him, and he said when they stood down, which I interpreted to mean when they left the prison, the operation in the hands of other people at 4 a.m. on the 6th of December, they had discovered that there is an inmate who had been killed. So there was no doubt that they already knew. So he said he gave an instruction to the commissioner of prisons to ensure that the crime scene is preserved. And of course, that was not followed because it's been confirmed by both the inmates and the guards and even the investigating officers themselves that the prison was cleaned. So there was it looks like this is the view we are sort of forming now. We are not we open to finding other information, but the view we are forming is that there was deliberate cover up.
I wouldn't be able to help there.
In the process.
I wouldn't be able to help there.
Yeah.
Mais seulement, this from experience, nous la police pas bon vraiment le preserving crime scenes.
But just on experience, our police force
they are not good at doing that.
are not good at preserving crime scenes.
Combien fois n'arrive un incident, whatever, et ou dit moun peut masser sans aucun well, peut-être nous regarde film, ainsi de suite, nous avons des petits saucettes, ainsi de suite. Mais ici, les officiers passent, massent, ainsi de suite. So, I would say this is not one of the forte of our police force, preserving crime scenes.
How many times that an incident had happened whereby we would see that, for example, in movies you would find the forensics wearing small socks to walk over the crime scenes, but here in Seychelles they would just walk like that without wearing anything. I would say that this is not a strong suit of the police force of preserving crime scenes.
I'll just mention that we have some very good police officers. I mean, very few of them who do the work very well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to like for them to feel that
don't
that's generalized.
No. In fact,
I can tell you honestly that actually at some point in time I wanted to talk to Mr. Babi. I even told him, come and see me, because there are some officers who are very good, some are very bad. And I wanted him to know who were the good officers, at least to take care of them, you know.
Moi aussi, moi d'accord avec ça qu'on peut dire. Et in fact, l'état tenant le mot, tenant sa crime pralin.
I also agree with what you are saying. In fact, when the crime happened on Pralin,
Forgotten his name of the German guy.
Yeah, that case came before me. That's why I'm telling you.
Yes. And if the crime scene had not been properly preserved, they would never have found out who did the murder. But because it was properly preserved, certain elements were collected and.
I sat over that case, and I can tell you, these officers were good.
Yes, I know.
So
coming before you tomorrow.
So we are back to this issue now, still on the crime scene, and the fact that the police commissioner did not bring this with you. I just want to see if I am being unreasonable in my discomfort. So if I place myself in your shoes, I am the commander-in-chief. Well, this is not about soldiers. I am the president. And ultimately, society looks up to me for answers, especially when they can't get answers from anywhere else. They would at least say, my president should know. And I'm sitting with a police commissioner whom I have asked to account to me why the investigation is not progressing at a pace that it should. And they don't share this with me. Would I be unreasonable to say there was an element of either dereliction of duty or dishonesty there?
No, Mon papa dit c'est malhonnête.
I
Ou
would
bien
not
c'est
say
laissé pour casser quelque chose.
they were dishonest or hiding things.
Mon pas problème commissionnaire de la police
Oh.
pour lui parler de ça point avec moi.
I would not blame the commissioner of the police for not raising that point with me.
Mon coin qui peut dire simplement la façon qu'ils m'ont allé une négligence.
It simply, according to the way I see it, it's negligence.
Et mon peut dire ça aussitôt à cause peut-être l'état mon peut après l'état on peut regarder le rapport l'autopsie and everything else.
And I would say that as well when looking at the autopsy report and everything else.
Pour qui m'a hier ça timon il gagne tué
You see how that individual was killed.
et qui mon coin qui ça dans lui-même lui il pas pour empêcher l'investigation proper investigation qu'on fait.
That in itself will not prevent a proper investigation to be
personnellement,
conducted.
pas mettre beaucoup l'emphase le ça mais
So me personally, I would not put much emphasis on that, but
a crime scene has to be preserved. Someone d'accord 100%.
that I 100% agree.
Okay. Do you,
questions?
you have a question? Okay.
Okay. So let's go back. Okay, you say you didn't receive any update or report as to the progression of the investigation. So by the time you left office, you still had not received any
No, nothing.
report.
Nothing. Was still asking for something. Nothing.
Okay. So, but during that time, were there any more meetings regarding the incident or any?
No, it was basically an item on our agenda. Progress. What is the progress? C'est suite. And là, autant report côté attorney général, ainsi de suite, mais n'a pas rien concret.
Sometimes you hear it's nearly reaching the Attorney General's office, but nothing concrete.
Sad.
Were you informed of any individuals who were identified as perpetrators of those crimes?
Sazou, l'État notifié ça debriefing.
That day when we had the debriefing,
Maintenant, l'information qui t'y donnait et qui après t'y totalement différent avec rapport l'autopsie.
there was certain information that was given and afterwards completely different to the autopsy
Par
report.
exemple, ça que mon tigan dit, Monsieur Mathieu, tigan tapé par derrière son la tête.
For example, what I was told that Mr. Machot was hit from behind his head,
Et qui c'est ça qui est capable de causer son mort.
and that was the reason. That was what could have possibly caused his death.
Mais après ça, dans l'autopsie, dans le rapport l'autopsie, venait boulette qui tué.
And when the autopsy report came in, it was a bullet that killed him.
What would you think officers would? I'm sure the officers were feeding you that information that it was something that it was hit on the back. Okay, why would they be feeding you with such information if they knew it was not correct?
Well, c'est sa question qui moi me pose mon l'école après.
That's the question that I asked myself afterwards.
Moi pas connaître les autres qui connaissent plus bien, cause autres ils disent ça.
But I do not know. They would know better why
Mais
I said
aujourd'hui
that.
moi pour dire qu'il définitivement il est capable qu'il ait tapé, mais seulement pas ça taper qui cause son mort, mais
And-
boulette qui cause son mort.
Today I can say that definitely it might be that he was hit, but it was not the
Et-
hit that caused his death. It's
moi-
the bullet.
Moment là, pour moi, pareil, mon faire mon autre, pour moi dire la vérité, mon peut dire autres ça qui, mon petit gagne.
And I'm here to, according to my oath, tell the truth, and I am saying things according to what I was given, information I was given.
Just a quick question on that one. Who you said the officers told you that Jerry
Oh.
Machot was hit by something else that came.
Yes.
Who are these
Mon
people?
pa pou mazine exactement lequel
I would not recall exactly who.
who. But what was said was that it was a police officer who hit
Who
him,
hit him? Did
but not even giving the name of the officer.
would I be unreasonable to assume that this is the kind of information that you should have received from the police commissioner?
I won't put emphasis on the police commissioner, I must say. Commissioner la police, li aussi tou y pati là-bas.
The commissioner of police was not there as well.
Et ti peut dépendre le rapport from son officier.
He was depending on reports from his officers.
Alors, li aussi tou y possible, il y en a certaines quelque chose qui pas vraiment demander, fouiller, ainsi de suite, comme si l'équité the investigating officer.
So it's possible that there are certain things that he did not dig and ask around since he was not the investigating officer.
Mais il peut plutôt espérer, lui aussitôt, pour lui gagner quelque chose qui est compréhensible.
But he was rather waiting also as well to receive something comprehensive.
Parce qu'il arrive un crime à l'endroit.
Because, example, a crime happened somewhere.
Il ne peut pas prendre tout le détail.
Oui,
Mais
là-
seulement les détails pour voir un rapport. Sans officier, là présent, il faut connaître exactement quoi qui est arrivé.
He would not know all the details, but when he sees the report of the officer, now he will know exactly what had happened.
So, mon pas pour mettre l'emphase, ça comment ça et moi, mon pas pour mettre l'emphase, ça comment quelque chose qui commissionnaire la police devrait connaître.
So I would not emphasize that as something that the
Mais-
commissioner of police should have
Mais
known.
il plutôt c'est quelque chose qui sans officier devrait mettre à son attention et donner par exemple un initial report.
But rather certain things that his officer should have put into his attention and
An initial report.
initial report.
But even that he didn't receive. Because, or else he would have shared it with me.
But, Mr. Ramkalawan, this is where I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
A commissioner of police, with all the caliber and the training that he has, he doesn't request or stress that he is given a report, because knowing that the commander-in-chief is not around, commander-in-chief is coming back in the country, I need to have
Something.
credible, not something, but credible information for me to give to my commander-in-chief. Because the commander-in-chief is going to be asked a lot of questions, and he should be precise and,
Non, pas d'arriver. ça.
get
No, that
very
never happened.
proper
Pas d'arriver.
information.
That never
So,
happened.
so he never requested that.
Mon pas connaît qui une request avec son officier, mais c'est moi capable de dire avec vous ça qui moi me demandé.
I do not know what he requested from his officers, but I can tell you what I asked.
Moi, à tout moment, mon demande rapport
At all times, I ask for reports,
et mon gars dit peut venir, ainsi de suite.
and I was
Yes,
told
I mean,
that it was coming and so on, but
Et mon
never
sorti de l'office.
arrived
Mon sorti de l'office sans aucun rapport.
Yeah, but
until
no,
I
no, no,
left
this
the
one
office
I-
without any report.
This one I understand. That's
Mhm.
a report, an investigative report that you were looking for. What I'm talking about is, as you said, an initial report.
No, nothing.
On the day or the 2 days later that you arrived in the country, somebody should have come running to you, Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief,
No.
there you are, in case anybody comes to ask you
Pas
questions.
d'arriver.
So
It
they
did
did
not
not
happen.
give you,
No,
and
no.
they di-
No.
and we
No.
can't say that the Commissioner of Police was right in this, because he failed as well there.
Non, ça, pas moi qui vous dis si une fail ou bien si pas une fail. This is your job.
I will not say if he failed or not. That is your job.
Okay. Ex-President, I see, you know, earlier when you were talking, you were voicing a lot of concern about the incidents surrounding what happened at the Montagne Posée prison after you arrived, requesting a lot of, making a lot of questions and requesting a lot of documentation to help you understand what was going on.
I don't get you there.
You were, when you arrived back in the country,
I had the debriefing.
you had the debriefing, but then there were still things that, you felt that you needed to be fed properly. There were lots of things that you wanted to know. Because an initial
Can you give me
report,
some examples?
I don't know, an initial report is very brief.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So you would write a more comprehensive report in order to be able to help you in decision taking and whatever. Yeah? But what I'm trying to come to is, you see, you said you spoke to the VP when you were still abroad.
Mm-hmm.
Spoke to the VP, and the VP told you that he would feed you with information as and when he was given. Did you at any time instruct him to tell the officers on the ground, especially the military and the police, not to use live ammunition inside the prison, and to ensure that there was no loss of life?
Me?
Yeah, did you tell him
No, we
to
didn't.
to inform those guys?
We didn't talk about this.
You did not talk.
No, we didn't talk about this.
Did you? Did you, ex-president? Did you, at any time when you were overseas, did you at any time you personally instruct the military to go to Montagne Posée prison?
Capital N, capital O, bold, underline. No.
You didn't.
No.
Okay. When we listen to testimony here, probably you have heard about it as well. There were family that said that you did tell them that you had ordered the military to be present at Montagne Posée prison,
That I didn't expect it to be that bad.
and that you did not expect them to do what they did.
I smiled when I heard this. I don't know in which meeting this was said.
But did you meet?
Yes, I met the Machot and the Ernesta families, yes.
Okay. So you did not say this
No,
at all?
no.
They are lying then?
Yes, totally. And if I were to see the person, I would tell that person in her face that she lied. I mean, why would she have to come and say this at the commission? And why would I say this to anyone? Why would I say this to anyone? I mean, I don't know where she got that story from. But this is an utter lie and despicable, I would say.
Sorry, let me just step in a little bit there. I recognize your right to respond, which is why we are putting these questions to you. And I'm not yet forming the view that when you said, if I were to see in her face, I would tell her this, I would ask her this question. I'm assuming that you are saying I am prepared to say
I'm prepared
no
for her to
when
come
she's
here
not right.
and I'll tell her.
Yeah, but just because you are a political leader with a lot of people who support you, it's important to just emphasize that what she gave is her version. So it's part of the reason why we are giving you the opportunity to also give your version.
I forgive her.
So there should never be any questioning of each other.
No. But
Yeah, just to clarify, I'm not saying that is what you are saying, but just in case someone out there is interpreting what you have said to mean that this person lied and should be questioned, I'm clarifying that it would be a criminal offense for any person to do that on your behalf or
C'est maman mon capable de dire mon pardonne lui parce qu'ils ont encore dans souffrance la mort.
But I can say
Mon pardonne lui.
that I forgive her because they are still suffering due to the passing of their family members. So I forgive
I just wanted
her.
to step in for that. Go on,
Okay.
Commissioner.
Just to carry on from where Commissioner Tiran had left, but the person who came here and testified regarding you acknowledging to her that you were the ones who ordered the military to go to prison, to the prison, even said that you even identified to her names of people who were involved
No.
in that.
No, for the Machot.
For the Machot.
No. It's a Machot family member
Mm.
qui dit ça.
That
Okay.
said that.
No.
I think
No.
No.
Yeah, I think what the question he's asking relates to the Francis and Esther family.
No. To
So-
the
I think
Francis
it's
and
Esther.
Esther.
It is
No.
Francis and Esther.
Francis and Esther.
No.
But let's.
No, il y en a deux là.
But I think it's important
There's
to
two.
put.
Mélangé.
It's
Tout
mixed.
mélangé. Ça
You-
qui
you
te
have
dit-
mixed
Yeah.
the
Ça
two.
qui te dit, c'est pas mon monde dit, mon qui t'a envoyé l'armée, c'était la famille Machot.
The Machot family is the
The
family that
Esther,
said that
no.
I said I
Esther.
sent the army officers.
Yeah.
And
So-
it's
Yeah.
So-
Let's correct this. Let's
Yeah.
correct this. I think we are on the same page. The family of Mr. Francis and Esther. Did you meet them?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
In fact, I can tell you, the daughter, and maybe I should modify this. Monsieur Enesta, c'est un ami personnel pour moi.
Mr. Nesta was a personal friend to me.
Et lui avec son madame, après, malheureusement, ils étaient séparés, nous étions tout le temps bien ensemble.
He and his wife, unfortunately, they separated, but we were always on good terms.
Et il passe dans beaucoup de souffrance, il perd des garçons, par exemple.
He went through a lot of many suffering. He lost 2 sons, for example.
Et moi, tout le temps là, pour moi, donner du support.
I was always there to provide my support to them.
Et son fille, qui est staff nurse, Elmonda,
And her daughter, who is a staff nurse, Elmonda,
moi, je colle personnellement, l'état, moi, je apprendre ce qui est arrivé avec Francis.
I called her personally when I learned what had happened to Francis.
Il est parti d'un pays
She was not in the jurisdiction,
et il peut retourner.
but
Et
she
là,
was
même là, qui m'a dit avec lui, qui m'a pour joindre la famille.
returning back to the country, and that's when I stated to her that I will meet with the family.
Yes, et après, moi, je joindre la
And I
famille.
met them afterwards.
And in the, of course, you discussed a lot of things, but did you in that meeting give the family members names of officers whom you suspected?
Ça m'en va cause off
Vite.
camera, parce qu'il y en a une confusion là.
This I will say off camera because there is a confusion there.
Et mon pas envie aller dans ça, le caméra, mais c'est moi, zislo saban non, qui m'ont tendu, mais ça con, vient dire devant les autres, mon besoin de dire autres qui n'est pas vrai.
And I would go off camera for that, but with regards to the name that Miss Akon, I heard her saying, I would like to say that these are not true.
Yes.
So the names are not true.
No,
but
no.
you- But you
No,
would-
no.
you
She
would-
mentioned 4 names. No, not true.
Okay.
But I'll have, I will share with you certain things.
Okay. So could you? You
No,
want
no.
to?
You finish?
But have you noted that, please? Yeah. Do you have any follow-up questions on that? Back to you, Commissioner.
The relative of Mr. Akon even said that of Mr. Anista, even said that you even mentioned to her that there was a confusion of identity in that it was Mr. Jean-Pierre Pou that was being targeted, and somehow her father ended up being beaten.
No. I know that you had released Mr. Jean-Pierre Paul on bail. I knew that. And this was one of the discussions at one of the meetings that we had. So how could I, who knew that Mr. Jean-Pierre Paul was not in prison, had been released on bail with the others in that case, how could I tell her that there was a case of mistaken identity? Come on.
I'm thinking maybe
I think it's too much.
is it possible that you came to know about the release of Mr. Jean-Pierre Paul subsequent to the incident that happened?
Moi, tu connais qui Monsieur Jean-Pierre Paul tinga released jusqu'à moi tu donnes l'ordre pour la régler.
I knew that Mr. Jean-Pierre Paul was released just when the same day that you gave the order to release him.
Okay. And there is also an allegation that when the military, actually we have guards who have told us that when the military came to the prison, they asked specifically for the two Subramanian brothers. And you don't know about that?
No.
Okay. But even like when they went inside, we even have testimony from guards and others who were there. When the Subramanian were confronted, the officers were saying that they'd been sent by you to sort out the Subramanian brothers.
No, absolument. Ça c'est un peu un mensonge qu'il a dit devant sa commission.
These are some of the lies that has been told in front of this commission.
Et qui, pour moi, trouve vraiment sad.
And for me, I find it very sad.
But you do understand that we got these testimonies from prison guards, from people who were outside the prison, people who were inside the prison?
Well, Monica pas venir dire ça qu'ils autres là.
People can come and say what they want.
Qui mon problème avec Subramanian? On n'a pas aucun problème avec Ben Subramanian.
What is my problem with the Subramanians? I do not have any problems with them.
In fact, mon cas dit avec vous que les autres papas, Stenio, ils bons amis.
In fact, I can say to you that their father, Stenio, is one of my good friends.
Yeah. Perhaps I can step in with a follow-up question there. Yes, so we put these things to you so that you have an opportunity to respond. So one of the claims or allegations or criticisms in respect to what just Commissioner Vidote has just asked is that Mr. Dario Subramanian himself, and to some extent Fabio's testimony also, indicated that there is a personal problem between you and them. So what we would like to hear from you is whether there was a personal problem. Maybe there was a friendship at the beginning, and did things go bad later? How is your relationship with them?
Commissioner,
Yeah.
I will say this in English.
Okay.
The only time that I met with the two Subramanians was during the 2020 election campaign. I was campaigning at Ansopin, at Chetty Flats, and suddenly appeared those gentlemen. I didn't even know who they were. They came. Hi, you're campaigning, and hi, let's take a couple of photos. I took a couple of photos, and these photos were then published on social media. The minute those photos were published, comments appeared. Here is Ram Kalawan in the company of two biggest drug traffickers. And I asked questions about that, and that is when I knew who the Subramanians were, those two boys. I've never in my life been friends with them, been anywhere with them. No, this has never been the case. I guess, et là, moi, va continuer en créole, mon supposé, zot qui ont un problème avec moi.
I suppose that they have a problem with me.
Et zot problème avec moi, c'est que, en bas, mon présidence, qui zot ti gagne attrapé.
And the problem with me is that while I was the president, during the time that I was the president, that's when they got arrested.
They got arrested for drug trafficking. Et en même temps aussi, ces autres qui typent envoient un cessez-le-loi Iran et alors ils aussi gagné ça as human trafficking.
They were sending someone to Iran, and they were charged also for the offense of trafficking in person.
Et ça garçon, et c'est garçon cessez-le-loi qui nous sommes capables de sauver, il est fini quand il transfère l'ODAV iranien.
And that young man was the only Seychellois that we were able to save because he had already been transferred on a Iranian dhow.
Et à travers l'opération internationale qui tient clé l'armée Navy Land,
and through the international operation that included the army from the
Indian Navy,
Indian,
we managed to bring that man back and hand him over to his family. Et c'était pour ça l'offense, human trafficking plus drug trafficking, qui aujourd'hui, ça l'état là, aujourd'hui reste 10 ans, qui ont été condamnés, on pas connaît plus que 15 ans, 20 ans de prison.
And it was for these two offenses that I just mentioned. That was why they were convicted for, I think now there's only one remaining, but they were convicted for 15 or more, 20 years.
Et en plus que ça, mon capable aussi ajouter, et il y avait des gens qui avaient 10 autres là.
In addition,
les temps autres de prison, ils ont continué avec drug trafficking.
While they were in prison, they kept on with their trafficking in drugs.
Et aujourd'hui, vous avez demandé à cause qui un autre il encore garde en Soyal.
And today, you need to ask why is one of them in the police station at Ansoyal
and not at Montagne Posée prison.
Okay, no, I think that answers the question. I mean, we get your version to this.
There was also this allegation why there is an animosity between you and the Subramanian brothers. Is that one of the brothers, I think it was Fabio, he once slapped one of your sons?
No.
No.
Not aware of that. If he had slapped one of my sons, I would have come after him.
Again, Mr. Ramkalawadi, no, I think...
No, I would have, when I say I would have come after him,
yeah,
I would have got my son to go to the police station.
Okay, thank you for clarifying
yes,
that, because
yes,
you know,
this is what I mean by I would have gone after him.
Yeah, I mean, as a commission, we don't assume, we don't leave any room for misinterpretation,
for any criminality.
Yeah, because we
I would definitely have taken have gone to the police station with my son, even though he's an adult, and we would have pursued the case. Yes.
Okay. And you do agree with me that this operation was very disastrous.
Well, vous connaissez, c'est difficile pour passivement les temps ou pas là.
It's difficult for you to pass judgment when you were not there.
Pour dire ça devrait arriver, ainsi de suite. C'est facile pour dire ça.
For you to say that was supposed to happen, such and such was supposed to happen, it's easy for you to say that.
Mais seulement, si nous pécons son résultat,
But if we are talking about the result,
que deux personnes perdu la vie,
whereby 2 people lost their life
et une quantité de personnes injured,
and many people got injured,
mon pour dire que est-ce que tu n'as pas une autre façon pour faire ça,
I
sans
would
que ça donne quelque chose y arrive.
ask if there was any other way that they could have done that without all of these things happening.
C'est ça qui est mon pour dire, et c'est pour ça raison que à cause ça est arrivé, la façon qui est arrivé, mon croit qui peut dire la justice a besoin prend son course, et c'est pour ça raison que moi peux mettre l'emphase le proper investigation and chaque du monde qui a son responsabilité prend son responsabilité et continue.
And that is the reason I said that, because of the way it happened and why it happened, that I emphasized on justice being carried out, and emphasis that the proper investigation is conducted, and that whoever's responsible is arrested.
No. Whoever is responsible faces the music.
Yeah, before you come in.
This is the law.
Yeah.
This is the law.
This is
Before
the
you
law.
come
Yes,
in.
in that case, it won't be disco.
Yeah, we just need to deal with that part, because this would be, yes, there's a criminal investigation, but this is also part of the investigation. Almost every, I think not almost every witness who came here who was involved in the operation. Whilst they disagree on some elements, but they all agree that the force that was used was excessive. And the reason why some of them say the force that was used was excessive were 3 reasons. One is no live ammunition was supposed to be carried inside the prison, but clearly live ammunition was carried in. We now know that because one person died because of the use of live ammunition. The second reason why they say it's the force was excessive is that the inmates, there were 18 inmates. Now, talking about some of the preliminary results of the investigation, there were about 18 inmates that I think were identified to be, engaging in disturbances. Some people call it riotous behavior. The rest were not participating in that. So they perhaps would be part of the group of inmates whom earlier on we said are people who are paying for their offenses and waiting for the opportunity to restart their lives. But outside of those 18 who were actively or who were being rioters, there are so many who were injured. Some are still struggling today. Some have died, they've been killed. I think in light of that, wouldn't you as the president at the time and as a leader in society be unapologetic about saying, look, the force that was used there was excessive. We can debate about was it necessary, who did it, because that's what we are sorting out. But wouldn't it be clear that it was? So I'm just wondering why you are hesitant to be clear on that.
Mon pas hésitant là, moi.
I'm not hesitant on that.
Son résultat est excessif.
The results were excessive
Parce que, par exemple, on peut dire, on déjà dit, de la vie perdue.
because, like I already stated, 2 people lost their life
Et une quantité de gens injured.
and many were injured.
So, il y a quelque chose là qui est capable de dire comme on regarde et dit pas normal.
So there's something there that just on the face of it, you can tell it's not normal.
Mais à présent, moi, ça qui m'intéressait avec, mon condamne ça, qui est arrivé.
Now, what I'm interested in, I condemn these actions that it should
C'est
not
là-
have happened.
C'est là que mon balance li avec la justice.
That's when I will balance it with justice.
So that, ça bande de monde qui est responsable pour ça qui est arrivé.
So that the people that are responsible for what had happened,
À travers l'investigation, zot gagne emmené devant la justice, ou zot capable en même temps aussi, explique zot les corps.
through the investigation, they are brought to justice so that they may also explain themselves.
Parce que mon papa dit ça qui est arrivé là-bas, mais dans la vie, nous sommes capables, là, au bon camarade, existe une chose, mon poussou, ou tomber ou mort.
Because I'm not saying what has happened over there, because in life, something, we can be standing there and I push you and something happens to you and you die.
So, il y en a une quantité différente quelque chose qui est capable d'arriver.
So there are many different things that can happen.
Et moi, tout le temps croire qui peut dire,
And I always believed that
toute la justice est concernée,
where justice are concerned,
fait, il gagne mettre devant,
facts are put forward
et ça haine qui gagne accusé,
and the person being accused
il gagne sa possibilité pour lui expliquer son corps.
gets the possibility to explain himself or
Et en
herself.
bas nos constitutions, the right to a fair trial.
And under our constitution, the right to a fair trial.
So, c'est ça la façon qui m'ont regardé.
That is the
Mais-
way that I look at things.
Mais c'est pour ça raison qui, et là, mon vie dit encore qui, le monde commencé, beau matin. Encore une fois, on dit que nous besoin d'imaginer the element of closure.
That is the reason why I will say again, like I said when I started in the morning, that we need to look at the element of closure.
Et mon press conference qui m'a fait le 17 décembre, qui I'm sure commissionnaire Tirantale pour venir là.
And
Looking
the press
forward to that.
conference I had on the 17th of December, which I'm sure Mr. Chira would address later.
I started the press conference with a moment of silence in memory of the 2 lives that had been lost and to also think of all those who had been injured.
I think, thank you, you've answered me. If he is going to ask that question, I think I give it to him. But it's over to you now.
Now, there are a few little clarifications. I heard you said that as soon as I would term it as Judge Melchior at that time, as soon as he released Jean-Pierre Poul from court, you were made aware. Why was that? What was Jean-Pierre Poul a threat to society, or
No, he was not. He was involved in drugs, and drugs was one of the fights, and one of the serious fights, and I was made aware of that.
So shall we say that all other drug cases, as soon as the people are released, they let you know?
No. Non, mais mon besoin dit que moi j'ai un grand intérêt. Moi j'ai un grand intérêt dans la lutte contre la drogue.
No, but I would like to say that I had a great interest in the fight against drug.
Et mon besoin dit que pour moi, 10% de la population c'est bon drug addicts.
And to say that 10% of our population are drug addicts.
Et c'est ça bonne zen qui commissionnaire Melchior il mentionnait dans une zone de prison.
And these are the young people that Commissioner,
Parents qui peuvent pleurer à cause des enfants ils dans drogue et les autres enfants peuvent voler quelque chose qui est dans autre la case.
Commissioner Vidot mentioned in prison, parents that are crying because their children are stealing things from their house.
Nos manpower qui peut gagner détruit.
Our manpower that is being destroyed.
Tous les semaines aujourd'hui, et ça a un peu les temps qui arrivé, tous les semaines ou bien tous les 2 semaines, nous pions terre un zen du monde.
Every week or every 2 weeks, and this has been going on for some time, we are burying young people.
Zen filles qui peuvent rentrer dans la prostitution.
Young girls that are starting to enter into prostitution.
Engage in prostitution.
Et the whole fabric of society qui peut désintégrer.
And the whole fabric of society is disintegrating.
C'est pour ça raison qui moi ultimately comment elle en phase pour amener la lutte contre la drogue et moi tu fais clair qui ou vote pour moi, qui ou pas vote pour moi. Si ou dans la drogue nous pour arriver koto.
And that is why I emphasized on the struggle or fight against drugs.
So-
And either, whether or not you had voted for me or not, if you are dealing in drugs, I will come for
Et
you.
c'est pour ça raison que tout ça ban du monde qui ti gagne arrêté pour drogue, ban traffickers, ban grand traffickers et tout.
That is why all of these
L'État nous
individuals,
joignent dans lundi et à part de ça, l'État peut pas ban les autres quelque chose.
the drug
Moi ti gagne
traffickers,
informé.
when we met on Monday, when we were going over other things, I was informed of those things.
Yeah, but I've heard what you said, but I would assume as well that even today, the fight against drugs is carrying on. It is happening.
Moi totalement désappointé avec ça la lutte qui peut arriver parce que tout ça ban ghettos qui nous tient nettoyés, qui tient vin propre, sont une retourne encore pareil.
I totally,
Et aujourd'hui, nos problèmes de drogue est beaucoup plus grave qu'il y a 5 ans qui m'ont dit là.
I totally disagree with the fight against drug nowadays because all of the ghettos that we had wiped clean has been brought back to
Everything
the
is
way
back.
it was. And wait, sa dernière petit bout. Tout ban ghetto ni tout paraît tiété après.
Well, there's a deterioration. I mean, everything has deteriorated, and today, wherever you go, be it on La Digue, be it on Pralin, be it here on Mahé, everywhere you hear people talking about the drug issues, and you see young people with syringes pumping drugs in their bodies. You see them kicking, as we say it. So for me, this is really sad, and deaths are on the rise.
Okay, but this one, I would say that this is your view as a politician.
Not as a politician,
And-
as a citizen of Seychelles.
Yeah, but
I think we should not enter into politics.
So okay, let's
This is a commission for
sorry.
politics. Yes.
Let's I think from now going forward, let's have questions that are direct, that have something to do with the riot or the 5 and 6 December. Just
okay. Mr. Ramkalawan, did you, in your tenure, did you ever meet with the people from the prison board?
No.
Were you made aware of any findings that the prison board took to the minister responsible for prisons?
Well, a number of the issues from the prison were raised at various meetings with all ministers, especially when we're talking about rehabilitation. Tout ça ben les autres quelque chose. C'est une quantité issues qui viennent devant et mon mazine qui vous dit prison board aussi tout fait une contribution là-dedans.
But were there concerns that should have been sorted out?
Mais encore, well, tout ça me concerne et c'est pour ça raison qu'il nous a pointé un nouveau CP pour s'y adresser un peu tout bonne concerne.
All of these concerns, that is why we appointed a new CP to address these concerns.
And we had as well other groups of people. We had the National Assembly Committee.
Yes.
Did they ever come to you? Did they
non,
show concern?
Non, je fais un rapport avec je pas répondre to me. L'Assemblée nationale, ce comité répond avec l'Assemblée. Separation of power.
Their reports, they did not report to me, the National Assembly. They report to their own committee that is in line with the separation of powers.
I think what he's just saying, whether you receive a new report, like, I mean, even if there is separation of powers, like there's a report that is in the national interest, like if you're carrying a fight against drugs, and there is a report that the make in interest of.
Mon connais qui peut dire le plusieurs reprises l'Assemblée nationale qui adresse sa ces drogue et même ben différents la loi qu'on a pour faire avec the fight against drugs. C'est une motion tout qui t'exprime support pour la lutte contre drogue.
I know that on several.
Et le côté prison aussi. Yeah. Well,
I know that several instances the National Assembly raised issues about the fight against drug. There were several motions as well that was raised as to that effect and with regards to the prison as well.
In the council meeting that you had, the National Security Council, there was the Director General who was in charge of intelligence. Did this gentleman bring forward intelligence relating to problems at the prisons?
Oui. Oui.
Yes.
Yeah. What sort of?
Well, in des arts, différents issues, lo bandi moun qui encore peut faire trafic drogue.
He had previously brought several issues with regards to people trafficking in drugs.
Et bon contact avec bon Iranien qui est dans prison.
Contact with the Iranians who was in prison.
Qui peut faire qui peut créer bon contact pour bon dave rentrer avec drogue.
That was establishing contact for the DAOs to enter
et
in
nous
with drugs.
certaines intelligences aussi from prison, le camp certain DAO tu peux venir.
And we received intelligence from the prison or about when certain DAO was coming.
Et ça tu permet nous faire certaines arrestations et you know certains DAO qui nous intercepté.
And that permitted us to do certain arrestations, and there were certain DAOs that were intercepted.
Qui sont l'intelligence qui sortit dans prison les mêmes.
And the intelligence came from prison itself.
Were there intelligences relating to a possible riot at the prison?
Non.
No.
Non, mais seulement mon pour dire tiens c'est une intelligence les armes qui peut gagner importer dans le pays.
No, but I will tell you that there were intelligence about certain firearms being imported into the country.
Et une possibilité un breakout.
And the possibility of a breakout.
And was measures taken
Yes.
to counter this operation?
Yes, tu increase l'intelligence et ça. Yeah.
Yes, we received more intelligence.
Right now, if I go back a little bit to the operations at the prison on the night, yeah, we had DCP Songo, who was in charge of the operation, and apparently when we listened to him, he showed that he had no support whatsoever, no support from his higher authorities, from his higher ranks, sort of to guide him, probably, because having listened to what Mr. Songo was talking about and the results of what happened, Mr. Songo had no idea of how to conduct this operation.
It's never dit pas capable.
But he should have said that he was unable to do so.
I think he spoke to his commissioner of police, and he was not helped at all.
Ça mon papou connaît, mais
Yes.
seulement si on gagne la tasse et ou pas capable de faire ça la tasse, ou dit ou pas capable et qu'il faille possible, si c'est la tasse spécifique,
This
si
I
ça
would,
joue soit pas capable.
would
Si
not
le
know.
petit, mon pas capable.
But I know that if you are given a specific task, then you know you are not able to do it, then you say that you are unable to do it, and that night probably that was a task that he was unable to do. He should have said.
He should have said so. Si vient ici en juin 2026 pour lui dire ça, pas juin 2026 qui devait dire ça.
If he came here June 2026 to say that it's not that month 2026 that he
Il
should have
devait
said
dire
that.
ça le 5 décembre 2024.
That should have been said by him on the 5th of December 2024.
Are you getting to finish? Are we going to finish? Okay. In fact, yes, we go back to what you said earlier about the
Press conference
the
of
press
the 17th
conference,
of December.
Yeah. One thing that preoccupies me is this word chapeau that you used to describe the job well done by CP George, when in fact CP George was doing nothing, according to her. According to her, she did nothing
When?
on the 5th
And the 6th.
of December 2024. Okay, and I probably, when I looked at you now, I think you want to tell me that CP George did a brilliant job from the day she came up to the 5th of June, which if she had done, there would not have been a possible riot that took place in the prison. So how do you explain?
Commissionnaire Tyran, Montagne, pendant la commission, de temps en temps, on mentionne chapeau.
I've heard you during the commission every now and then mentioning the chapeau term.
Vous connaissez quel problème avec ça?
You know what's the issue with that?
Ou pas n'écoute bien mon press conference.
You did not listen well to my press conference.
Moi, non, copie sa press conference qui m'ont capable de faire available to the commission.
I have a copy of that press conference which I can make available to the commission.
Et moi, va dire dans quel contexte. Et si vous écoutez bien, vous pouvez voir qui peut dire, les temps de service à mon chapeau pour Jeannette,
And I will tell you in what context when you listen to it carefully. When I used the term chapeau to Janet,
tu n'as pas rien pour faire avec l'événement les 5 et les 6 décembre.
there was nothing to do with the events that happened on the 5th and the 6th of December.
Dans sa press conference, on servi 2 fois sa terme chapeau.
In that press conference, I used 2 times the term chapeau.
One, c'était en relation avec Human Rights Commission, avec Ombudsman,
One was in relation to the Human Rights Commission and the Ombudsman,
qui t'in écrit commissionnaire la police
that had written to the Commissioner of Police
pour dire l'état la police finit son investigation,
to say that when the police finishes or concludes their investigation,
zot envie faire zot propre investigation.
they want to do their own investigation.
Mon ti dit chapeau monsieur Renaud
I said, chapeau, Mr. Renaud,
parce que c'est ça la façon qu'il gagne faire.
because that is the way to do things.
À cause Harid li, il a fini faire son rapport et
Because-
d'après lui son investigation within a week.
Arid had already made their report and their investigation within 1 week.
Georgette from SBC, tu demandes moi une autre question.
Georgette from SBC asked me another question.
Quand il t'a dit, il peut demander moi, à qui manière tout ça ban zam parce qu'il fini faire sa press conference, tout ça ban zam, téléphone, router, l'autre, il est entré dans la prison.
Whereby she asked me how come all of these weapons, mobile phones and router had entered inside the prison.
Et moi tu cause la détérioration de la prison.
And I talked about the deteriorating state of the prison.
Et moi tu dis c'est là travail qui CP George t'a essayé faire pour lui remettre l'ordre dans la prison.
I said that that was the job that Mrs. George was doing for
Et
her
c'est-
to establish order in prison.
Et c'était un travail fantastique qu'il t'a pu faire.
And it was a fantastic job that she was doing.
Chapeau, Janet George.
Chapeau, Janet George.
Tu n'as pas rien pour faire avec Riot.
There was nothing to do with the
Tu n'as
riot.
pour faire avec son travail qu'il t'a pu faire.
It had to do with
Et
the job.
aujourd'hui, devant sa commission, on peut aussi dire travail que Janet George, comme un CP, ça peut faire dans la prison.
And today, it had to do with the job that she was doing. And today I will say in front of the commission that the work that she was doing there at the prison,
Chapeau, Janet George.
chapeau, Janet George.
Fier, mon ami, tout comme un commissionnaire prison,
I
parce
am.
qu'il type emmène prison in the right direction.
I am proud that I appointed you to that position of Commissioner of Prison because you were steering the prison to the right direction.
We hear you.
Et mon capable fait, vous avez une copie sa press conference.
And I can
pour
provide a
voir qui
copy.
vous dit tout ça qu'on dit pendant tout ça les temps, totalement faux parce que you had not listened very well to my press conference.
A copy of the press
We hear you.
conference because all of what you said all these times is totally false.
But what I want to again let you know that CP George had never, from the day she was appointed until after the elections, the last elections,
She was kicked out.
that was the first time she set foot inside the prison, inside the mill block where all this disturbance happened. And that on the day that this incident took place, the amount, according to what we saw, the amount according to the amount of contraband that was pulled out of the prison, it means that she never did anything inside this block.
No.
So this one I can
No.
confirm because it is there, we've seen it, and this I don't think will explain exactly what you just said.
Non, non, pas d'accord. Dis-toi avec ça que vous dites.
No, I do not agree at all to what you are saying.
Mon pas connaître que ben les autres rapports que vous avez gagnés.
And I do not know what other reports you got.
Qui vous dit pendant ça court les temps qui CP George il l'a enlevé prison.
I can say to you that during the
Il
short
fait
period of time
différents raids.
that she was there at the prison, she did different raids,
Et ça va une raid c'est qu'il fait Montagne Posée
which was done at Montagne
et
Posée
aussi côté detention center.
and at the detention center.
La quantité quelque chose c'est tiré quantité.
The amount of things that was removed is quite a lot.
The mail block was a big challenge. Et qui, oui, it's une façon pour les capables rentrer.
Yes,
Et
she
au
was
fait,
finding.
encore une fois, on dit chapeau Janet parce qu'il n'y a pas nazi, comment on dit, mon folle, pour les y rentrer. Et si tu y rentrer, probablement tu as rencontré son amour.
She was trying to find a way to enter inside, and again, chapeau to her, because if she had just entered straight inside, she might have lost her life as well.
The mail block in resté the main challenge.
Mail block remained the main challenge.
Not only to CP George, but to the previous, they were then superintendent of prison, parce que quelque chose in détérioré aux filles et à Mézi, quelque chose n'a allé,
But
et Lee Janet,
not only to Janet, but also to the previous superintendent at prison.
et Lee Janet, il a pu redresser une situation qui est une cabane trop beaucoup.
And the situation over there at the prison had deteriorated too much, and Janet was redressing the situation because it had tilted to the side too much.
Et aujourd'hui, moi je dis avec la commission, il n'y a pas de cabane encore.
And today I would like to say
C'est
to
pas
the
plus
Commission,
vite que nous expectait.
it's being tilted again, even faster than we expected.
Just some follow-up questions or comments there, because I want to believe the former president. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. That sometimes two things can be corrected at the same time, and there might be some things that the Commissioner of Prisons did well, in your view, but there are also some things that she may have not done well. So the fact that she has done some things, she has not done some things well, does not mean she has totally failed. Equally, the fact that she has done some things well does not mean there were no failures.
Yeah.
So I think I bring this issue up because through this commission, I've listened to testimonies from prison inmates right to the top. You are sitting here, you are right at the pinnacle in terms of the governance. So one of the elements I have gained is that there are individuals who are seeking closure. You know, and you and I are at the same spot on that, because you said we need closure. So I'm just worried that sometimes if certain statements like I'm not talking about chapeau because I'm not yet graduated in my understanding of Creole to a point where I can fully grasp what it means. But just so that we don't leave anything to assumptions, I think it would be probably good to acknowledge the good things that she did, but also acknowledge the gaps or the failures that were there. That would help, I think, bring everyone on board so that we don't leave others feeling that our voices have not been heard. I raise this because now I have to ask you these questions that I didn't want to ask because I didn't think they had anything to do with you, but because of this exchange that you have had, I am thinking we should ask these questions. Because in our discussion with Minister Fonseca and CP Janet George, one of the glaring gaps that were there is that this country does not have regulations, prison regulations. So when one looks at the Prisons Act, it's designed in such a way that some things must be clarified through regulations. That's why Section 46 of that Act says the minister may promulgate regulations to expand on some of the provisions of, or provide details on the implementation of some of the provisions of this. And we gathered, and on Ms. Janet George's own admission, that initially she thought there were regulations, and then we said, no, but there are no regulations there, because the document titled regulations was never promulgated by government. Yeah. And she said, yeah, I got to know about it, and I got in touch with the Attorney General's office. Right? And our view in that meeting was perhaps the Minister of Internal Affairs should have been made aware, right, that there are no regulations here. So she did not. We asked the Minister of the former Minister of Internal Affairs, and he said, yes, she did not raise this issue with her. Of course, I must also give a complete picture that I said Mr. Fonseca did not agree, because he said, no, she didn't have to bring this to me, right? Yeah. But when you look at the legal framework, she was supposed to, because it is the minister who has the responsibility to make regulations, right? Sorry to go on, and I will give you an opportunity to. So that's one aspect that was missing. Even the minister, the former minister, when we spoke to him, initially he actually was convinced that there are regulations that govern the prison. And he said, when we asked him, which regulations are you talking about, he pointed us to the very same document, this document. Sorry. He pointed us to this.
The 1965.
Yes.
The 1965 regulations.
It's 2000. It's titled 2000. The Act is 1991.
Do you know that there are 1965 prison regulations?
Maybe let's get there. So let's just clarify that we are not talking about the same document, or we are talking about the same document. This one.
That's the 2001?
Yes.
That was never...
So that's not the one you are talking about.
No, I'm talking about the 1965 prison regulations.
You have a copy of it?
Yes, I have a copy which I can give you.
Can we see that? Secretary, can you please? Okay. So the 1965 prison regulations. So you were saying this.
Well, you said that there were no regulations. Yeah. What I'm telling you is there are 1965. Yeah, we can say 65 we were still a British colony and everything else, but there are prison regulations.
Yeah, but still, my point persists, which is that because we are inquiring, we don't know everything. So that's why. So when we are inquiring, we are asking questions. Yes. We need people to give us information. The very first person who should have given us this document is C.P. Janet George. In fact, what she told us, and this is what I'm saying, what she told us is she pointed us to the 2001 regulations, the document that says 2001 regulations, right? Which we had found out to be not.
I followed the debate on
that. So at that point, I would have expected her to give us this. But let me let me go back to the former Minister of Internal Affairs. If C.P. Janet George had not given us this document, I think Minister Fonseca should have. Because Minister Fonseca again pointed us to 2001 document. He even said, the 2001 document has all the regulations, all the laws and the rules that we need. Then we said, but it is not. Then he said, I thought it is. Right? So what I am trying to say, former president, is that there should not have been confusion on this basic issue.
I agree with you.
There should not have been confusion.
I agree with you.
The fact that there is some confusion there, and in fact there is lack of awareness on the part of the Commissioner of Prisons at the time, right? It's not a positive on a performance. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm saying. As we acknowledge her areas of strength, it is also important to also acknowledge that there are some basic things that were not done properly.
Okay, but if I may.
Sure.
You see, CP George had been there for only 6 months, around 6 months. And I'm not her lawyer, but I followed what was happening at the prison. And I must say, she was basically cleaning up where others had failed. If the last regulations were in 1965, next week we'll be celebrating 50 years of independence. 50 years of independence next year. Well, next week.
Next week, yeah.
Okay? The question is, what did the former commissioners do?
Correct.
So, there she is, and she referred to the 2001, whatever, had not yet been gazetted to become an SI and everything else. Fine. But what I'm saying is you cannot judge her on that. I mean,
I think
I'm sorry, but Mr. Tila is a
also
former commissioner.
Yes. My point.
What did he do to
my-
have new regulations? What did Mr. Saint-Ange do? What did Mr. Tiran do? What did... I mean, these are some of the questions, and why I'm putting it like that is, yes, there is a lot of work to be done. And again, we'll be celebrating 50 years of independence. The Police Force Act is what, 1960? And we need to revamp those laws, to have a look at all those laws. And commissioners, one of the things that was set up during my presidency was the Law Reform Committee. And I'm proud to be holding this constitution which they've published on the occasion of because for a long time now, I mean, for the first time we have a constitution with all the amendments that have been passed since 1993, including the 10th Amendment. That's part of the work that they've done, and I say chapeau to the Law Reform Commission. They've got, when you go to their website, you see a lot of the laws that they are working on. And of course, with those laws, which will make the lives of the judiciary much better, easier, it will also help our nation to move forward. Yeah. We need all that, and this is why I'm saying yes. Mrs. George, as the CP, was trying to deal with the actual prison, and I mentioned earlier the separation for the first time, juvenile detention and everything, away separated, high security prison. She was dealing with all the illegal stuff that was coming in the prison. We were talking about building a new prison with a proper prison architecture. But at the same time, and this is where I feel I really sympathize with her, she was not getting the full support of the staff. Why? Because the prison wardens were involved in a lot of illegal activities themselves.
Maybe some.
And yes, some of them. Yes, some of them were involved. And 3 months. Well, I was still in office when a prison warden was sacked for bringing into prison number of bottles of alcohol and everything. Prison wardens, Commissioner, prison wardens who were taking food that had been cooked at the prison by inmates to the concubines, to the partners of prisoners. So, with the drugs thing, and I mentioned that also in that press conference, the level of corruption, and I will openly say, corruption in the police, corruption within the military, corruption, the Coast Guards. I mean, we've had to sack people from the Coast Guards because they go out there and they arrest a ship with drugs and they take their share. Corruption at the customs who allow drugs to go through and other stuff. This network is. What is the salary of a prison guard? Let's say it is 20,000 rupees, which it is not. But those guys in there, they can give you 100,000. So all you've got to look at the prison with all this in mind.
Yeah.
And but this does not absolve what we are talking about.
Yeah.
I go back again to loss of lives and injuries. And for me, this is an occasion for us to have a closer look at how we run institutions, how we ensure that the proper regulations, proper protocols are worked on, and we can then say this is the protocol. Building up the institutions instead of depending on individuals. If we can help build the institutions, then we stand a greater chance.
No, I think I think we're together.
We're on the
now
same page. We're on the
need
same
to
page.
Carry everyone on board. I taken
Corruption is throughout government.
Oh my God, you're telling me.
From
Even here?
Back to you.
Yeah, I know you identify certain entities, but it's all around.
Yes, I agree with you. And where we are sitting in this area, there's quite a bit of corruption.
Yeah. I think let's move on so that we can get to the end. Commissioner, okay, Tirant.
Okay. I've got just 3 short questions. Ex-President, I understand that in Josephine unit, where we have the radar system, I understand there is a small house that was being refurbished.
As a cell.
Yeah, as cells, and could you talk to us about this a little bit?
No,
because this was happening in a military environment, in a military unit. Can we understand what was this all about?
I'm thinking.
Yes, this was si mon pas trompé, et Tipégan il fait en relation avec sa coopération avec EU.
If I'm not mistaken, it was done in relation with the cooperation that there was between the EU.
EU, where similar to what happened during the years of piracy, where pirates, Somalian pirates, would be arrested and brought to Seychelles for the legal finish. Okay? And brought to Seychelles for the legal finish. So there was this facility that was being built so that they would be away whilst awaiting trial, so that they would not be placed at the Montagne Posée prison, because, as you will recall, this in fact was one mistake that happened years ago. And if today we have a big drug problem, was because the Iranians were arrested at sea, sentenced in our court, taken to Montagne Posée, and from there contacts were established with inmates, and then the drug problem exploded. So the idea that was being, but now it's been shelved, was that there would be a place here where those arrested would be placed whilst awaiting trial, during their trial, and then from here brought to the island of Marie-Louise, which already has a prison. Okay? So this was the idea. But this never happened. And as you know, for a place to be declared either a detention center or a prison, it's got to be gazetted. And so this never happened. So it's there, never happened.
Yeah, but if I may ask for clarification, when you're talking about if we had Iranians being caught in drug smuggling, but this little house up there, I think maximum had four beds.
I don't know the facility, to tell you the truth.
I think it had just 4 beds, and I don't think it would suit the purpose of catching 10 people at sea and putting them in.
I wouldn't. No. But this was the idea.
Don't you think it had another purpose?
No, we're a country of the rule of law. Rule of law. I mean, you cannot detain anybody anywhere. I mean, first of all, there's the when you are arrested, you've got to be told for what purpose you are being arrested, which unfortunately is not happening in many instances today. And your lawyer, I mean, if your lawyer didn't know where you were, could always bring a case of habeas corpus before the court, and the authorities, the arresting authority, would have to bring you to court. So as far as the human rights element is concerned, there would be no way you would be able to, in this country called Seychelles, where somebody would be detained in a private place or whatever. And you rightly say, this is the military facility, and of course, but the military can arrest a soldier and who is being court-martialed and place him in detention. So, but no.
No. Remove what you are thinking in your mind.
Have you ever been there to have a look at this? No,
No.
you haven't.
In fact, one facility that I never visited whilst I was president was
No,
Josephine.
I'm just asking you is because you see, you being the commander-in-chief,
I never
and something
visited
is being
Josephine.
built inside the premises of a military unit, most probably that's.
No, I never visited Josephine.
Mm.
In fact, it was on the program because we had just worked out
Okay.
another system.
Right, I've got two last questions,
Mhm.
Mr. Ex-President. If tomorrow the family of Mr. Ernesta and family of Mr. Machot wanted justice, who would they hold accountable for what happened to their loved ones?
Well, I would regarder dans deux façons.
I would look at it two ways.
N, vous êtes capable, well, c'est un criminal case, et dimoni gagne sanzé.
There could be a criminal matter whereby people are charged.
So, this would be quelque chose qui la cour va décider si vous êtes coupable ou bien non.
That would be something for the court to decide if they are guilty or not.
Mais deuxièmement,
Secondly,
mon crois qui est tout le temps dans sa possibilité pour faire un civil case,
I think that there is always the possibility for a civil matter,
asking for compensation for the death of their loved ones in custody. And that would be against the government of Seychelles. Or against those who were responsible for the crime. But the prison authority would also be accountable because the incident happened at the prison where they were supposed to be in safekeeping. So, il y en a ça des éléments et
It could be
au
the
fait,
SDF as
so
well.
I think
Sorry?
there are
Could
these
be
two
the SDF
elements.
as well.
it could be the, in fact,
Yeah.
it could be an array of, could be the SDF, the police, the prison authorities, and those who actually participated. So this would be legal, and mon pas un avocat, mais c'est mon connaît qui vous dit, il y en a une chose. In fact, this is one of the elements that I did mention
I am
to
not
the families. That the
I'm not a
possibility
counsel,
of
but this
getting
is one of these.
compensation.
Mr. Ex-President.
Mais ça, encore une fois, il n'y a pas quelque chose de nouveau. Il y en a du monde qui ne va pas prison qui ne gagne compensation.
And this
La famille
again
Banane,
is not something
qui gagne
new.
compensation.
There are
Pour le
people
moment,
that has
but,
passed away in the prison whereby the family got compensation, the Banan family.
Yeah, but the question was who they hold accountable. This was the question.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned an array of
Institutions.
of services, institutions that would have been the military, the prison, or whatever it is. Don't you think the members of the Defense Forces Council, being the heads of those institutions, would be equally responsible, taking into account that little weapons were used?
But that would be the SDF. But I'm not a lawyer, so don't ask me for legal advice.
No, I'm just asking. You know, if it was.
No, but they could. I'm sure they would go to a lawyer, and their lawyer would be able to guide them as to which door to knock on, and yes.
Well, I'm sort of saying this because I've seen in our country, with the short period that probably you and me, we were at school and the age we are, there's been so many things that have happened, and many individuals in the positions of authority, even if they were not present where incidents took place, have been categorized as guilty as well.
Well, if they gave the orders, yes. There must be a thread somewhere. But they deserve, I would say, not only pas this, la famille Ernesta et la famille Mathiot,
Not just the Ernesta
Mais-
family and the Machot family,
mais les autres aussi, tout qui gagnent du mal, si du monde il gagne trouvé qui peut dire ça du mal, il gagne fait d'une façon malice criminelle.
but the others who sustained
Les autres aussi,
injuries,
les autres méritent gagner compensation.
and if
Mon
people
connaît
see
qui peut
that,
dire, mon connaît qui peut dire l'argent pas faire retourner ou bien aimé, qui est la famille Ernesta, qui est la famille Mathiot.
these
Mais
injuries,
seulement-
if it was committed in a criminal manner or by way of malicious manner, and then they should be given compensation. And I know
Yes.
that money will not bring back the loved ones of the Machot family and the other family,
The Ernesta family.
Ernesta family.
But they do deserve appropriate compensation. I stand by this et c'est pour ça raison aussi tout qui moi de mon façon l'état m'ont joindre avec ça des familles, c'est pour ça raison qui m'ont straight away dit avec ça l'état y va prend tout bonne dépense qu'il y en a pour faire avec l'enterrement encore une fois.
And that is the
Comprends cette
reason.
souffrance, mais moi tu fais si que l'État qui tire prend tout cost funérailles ça des du monde.
That straight away after meeting with the family, I made it known to them that the state would be responsible for the funeral expenses of both families.
Okay. So are you of the view that any compensation being ordered to pay to all the victims would be from the state?
Non, moi c'est pour ça raison moi mentionne aussi ben du monde qui est responsable.
No, that is why I also mentioned the people, the others responsible.
Prison est pour l'État.
Prison belongs to the state,
Et alors c'est l'État il y en a une responsabilité.
so the state has a responsibility.
Et ça y a une responsabilité directe
And
pas
that is
des
a
bonnes
direct
instances
responsibility.
TRNUC.
Not in the instances of
Côté,
truth and
ça tient l'autre
reconciliation,
affaire.
which
Mais
that was another
dans
matter.
prison même pareil, c'est un démoni mort dans casso.
But inside the prison, if somebody, for example, dies inside the prison cell,
Encore une fois, the state il y en a une responsabilité
then again the state has a
parce
responsibility.
que ça dit monde il y en bas responsabilité soit la police ou bien prison.
Because that person is either under the responsibility of the police or the prison.
Ouais. Ça mon façon de regarder.
That is my way
Parce
of
que
looking
légalement,
at
je ne
things.
connais quelquefois du monde avec l'esprit légal, il est capable de regarder de l'autre façon.
But
Avocat la défense pour défendre.
I know you're looking at me,
Legally.
but I'm not here to give legal advice.
No, but
Yeah, I was
But
actually
I-
talking to Commissioner saying if there is another question, because I think we are now
I think we have
discussing
exhausted our...
legal. You don't have another question? Okay. I think also just to obviously clarify, and I think that's where you were going, that we don't want to reduce everything to money.
No, we
I
cannot.
think what
the
they-
pain is...
yeah, what those
pain
who
is
are
real.
injured and who lost their family members when they came before us, I think the most important thing that they said they want is the truth.
yes,
they just want
they
to know-
deserve the truth.
Why they were beaten in the way
Yes,
that
they
were beaten.
deserve the truth. And Commissioner, I know the pain. I feel their pain. I'm an Anglican priest and I've buried people. And part of my responsibility is to help people go through closure. And closure is not easy, especially in those circumstances, when you have a 70-year-old father who is reaching the end of his life and he loses his life in such a terrible manner, this is the pain is.
I hear you, Commissioner.
I just want just one thing that I forgot when you were talking. When you said that you were a very close friend of Stanyu.
Yes,
Subramanian.
Stanyu Subramanian, yes.
And how come you didn't know his sons?
No, no. I mean, sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens. I mean, you're very good friends with ou bien avec un petit monde. Et après ça, un jour il dit avec quoi, ou mon garçon. Vous dites, ah, mais au garçon ça.
You are on good terms with someone, and then one day that person comes and introduces you to his or her son, and you say, "Oh, is this your son?"
Stanyu, côté resté Bougainville, moi aller.
Stanyu, where he lives at Bougainville, I go there.
Mon connu, un bon boug.
And I know him as a good man.
Et même fille Subramanian, un autre des Subramanian, qui travaillait à Seychelles. L'état mon passe dans le VIP lounge. Un jour, comment ça dit? Tu venais autre cause avec moi?
And even the daughter of one of the two Subramanian.
Mon papa Fabio.
When I went by
Mon
the
compte la
VIP
fille,
lounge
mon
at
compte
the
son
airport one time, she talked to me, she spoke to me, and she said that Fabio is my father.
Yes, o garçon, mon connu garçon. Bien.
Your
Mon pas tu
son,
connais o garçon, c'est quelqu'un dit avec moi pour dire o garçon.
I know your son well, but I did not know that until he
photographer.
stated to me that he was your son.
Okay. Before we start revealing people's sons and daughters,
No, I think
I think we should stop. Okay.
There is something I was going to discuss
Yes,
in private. There was something
yes, I remember. Thank you for reminding me.
No,
So
but
I do think that we have exhausted the questions that we had so far, and I recognize that there is an element in your testimony which you wished to
Yes.
give
Yeah.
off camera, and we will make arrangements for that.
Mhm.
But maybe whilst we are still in public, I have to read out one of your rights. And I know you are the fifth president of the country, so some people may say, but who will harass?
What, you don't know?
Right? But for us, we see all witnesses in the same light. Different vulnerabilities, but they are equal before us. So you have a right which every other witness that has come before us and who will come before us has. And it's the right not to be victimized by anyone as retribution for the testimony you have given. Your family should also not be victimized as retribution for the testimony you have given or any cooperation that you have given or you will give to the commission. So should you experience any victimization because of your testimony or cooperation with the commission, please contact us through our secretary and we will take the appropriate action that needs to be taken. No, it's a criminal offense for anyone to victimize you or your family or anyone connected to you as retribution for cooperating with the commission. Should we at some point in our work take the view that we need certain information from you,
I'll be ready.
we will call you
Mhm.
and arrange how to get that piece of evidence. But also because of your position in society and the position you held, it is very much likely that you will come across information that may be helpful for the commission to establish the truth regarding what happened on 5 and 6 December 2024. We encourage you to be proactive in assisting the commission, you write to the commission, you get in touch with the commission and provide that evidence. We'll be very grateful. Otherwise, I would like to thank you for your testimony and thank your team for accompanying you today to come and cooperate with the commission. With that, I would like to now ask that the media, you terminate the broadcasting, you vacate the room, everyone vacates the room. The persons who are responsible